The absolute blackness of the eternal void shivers violently. A single jagged crack of silver light splits the cosmic nothingness. The impenetrable prison of the gods groans under unimaginable pressure. Two phantom wings woven from pure darkness rip the fabric of reality apart. Goku steps through the shattered dimensional threshold. His silver-black hair floats in the chaotic multiversal wind. His eyes hold zero warmth. The era of divine tyranny ends today. The hierarchy of the multiverse is about to be violently rewritten. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications before the Grand Priest erases this broadcast. The absolute zero of the eternal void shatters. A jagged fissure of silver light cuts through the infinite darkness. The spatial coordinates of the inescapable prison collapse. Dense gravitational waves ripple outward from the dimensional tail. A massive kinetic shockwave obliterates the surrounding dead matter. The hierarchy of the multiverse is about to be violently rewritten. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications before the Grand Priest erases this broadcast. The impenetrable seal of the Grand Priest groans under the strain. Dark energy bleeds from the widening cosmic wound. Two wings woven from pure phantom darkness rip reality apart. The wings stretch wide to push the collapsing dimension open. Silver lightning arcs across the black feathers. Goku steps through the shattered dimensional threshold. His heavy combat boots strike the invisible floor of the multiverse. The impact generates a localized tremor in the fabric of space. His signature orange gi is gone. A dark metallic armor plates his chest and forearms. Jagged spikes of void matter protrude from his shoulders. His monkey tail wraps tightly around his waist. The fur on his tail is entirely pitch black. His silver-black hair floats in the chaotic multiversal wind. The aura surrounding him consumes the ambient light. He exhales a slow breath of white mist. His silver irises lock onto the distant glow of the Omni Palace. His eyes hold zero warmth. The primal essence of the first fallen angel courses through his veins. His muscles twitch with new kinetic potential. He flexes his right hand. The knuckles pop with the sound of cracking tectonic plates. He mastered the void instead of dying within it. The nullifying effects of the prison bounce off his skin. He tilts his head to the side. He takes a second, deliberate step forward. The void behind him collapses into a microscopic singularity. The singularity detonates. The explosion erases the eternal void from existence. A shockwave of dark energy rushes outward at faster-than-light speeds. The pressure wave hits the outer borders of Universe 7. Stars flicker and die in the immediate vicinity. Planets shift off their natural orbital axes. The absolute silence of the vacuum is replaced by a low cosmic hum. The hum vibrates at a frequency that induces physical nausea. Far above the mortal realms sits the Omni Palace. The golden clouds surrounding the throne room turn ash gray. The Grand Priest stands frozen at the center of the Grand Hall. His confident smile vanishes. His pale hands grip his divine staff with sudden desperation. His knuckles turn stark white under the pressure. A bead of cold sweat forms on his left temple. The sweat rolls slowly down his pale cheek. He senses the impossible temporal anomaly directly. The highest multiversal alarms trigger. Red sirens bathe the marble floors in crimson light. The wail of the sirens shatters the peaceful atmosphere. Zeno drops his toy planets onto the floor. The tiny spheres roll away and dissolve into nothing. The Omni King looks up at his chief advisor with wide eyes. He clenches his small fists against the armrests of his throne. He feels a genuine spike of dread for the first time. The Grand Priest steps forward to shield the throne. He slams the base of his staff against the marble tiles. A protective dome of white energy erupts around him. The dome flickers unsteadily. The incoming dark pressure wave slams into the Omni Palace. The golden pillars of the Grand Hall crack down the middle. Dust falls from the painted ceiling. The Grand Priest grates his teeth. His halo spins erratically out of its normal rhythm. He realizes his perfect betrayal has failed catastrophically. He sealed a mortal inside an inescapable tomb. He accidentally forged a literal god killer in the dark. The energy signature radiating from the tear is unrecognizable. It is a blend of perfect ultra instinct and pure annihilation. It carries the distinct corrupted flavor of his ancient master. The first fallen angel's legacy has returned to exact vengeance. The surveillance magic shatters upon contact with Goku's aura. The crystal ball atop the divine staff explodes. Shards of magical glass slice the Grand Priest's right cheek. A thin line of blue blood drips down his face. He wipes the blood away with a trembling thumb. He stares at his stained thumb in utter disbelief. The Grand Priest calculates 1 billion future timelines. Every single timeline ends in his absolute destruction. Zeno's royal guards manifest in the throne room. The two tall guards cross their arms defensively. Their armored knees visibly shake. The dark pressure wave ignores their physical defenses. The wave attacks their fragile minds directly. The guards collapse simultaneously to the cracked marble floor. They clutch their heads in silent agony. The Grand Priest ignores his fallen subordinates. He focuses entirely on the expanding dimensional scar in space. The multiversal sky bleeds a sickening purple hue. Goku floats suspended in the cosmic vacuum. His phantom wings pulse with a steady, rhythmic heartbeat. Each pulse sends a new wave of localized gravity distortions. Planetary rings shatter and rain down upon their host planets. Goku registers none of their widespread fear. He isolates the specific energy signature of the Omni King. He locks onto the divine coordinates with absolute precision. His skeletal structure shifts to accommodate the raw power output. His dense bones turn heavier than compressed neutron stars. He clenches his fists tightly at his sides. The massive phantom wings flap exactly once. The single motion propels him across an entire galaxy. The atmospheric pressure of the mortal realm shatters upon his entry. Galaxies blur into streaks of white light. He ignores the natural laws of physics. He leaves a vacuum of absolute nothingness in his wake. He leaves a trail of dead space behind him. He fixes his gaze entirely on the divine hierarchy. The Grand Priest issues a frantic telepathic command to the lower realms. He bypasses all standard divine protocols. He authorizes the immediate use of the ultimate Hawkeye protocol. He demands the 12 gods of destruction assemble. The command echoes through the minds of 12 sleeping beings. Beerus bolts upright in his royal bed. His golden eye widens in pure primal terror. Wiz stops his casual tea preparation. The porcelain teacup shatters against the floorboards. They awaken simultaneously in a cold sweat. They taste the raw void energy on the back of their tongues. Goku continues his relentless, silent advance toward the palace. The silver-black aura trails behind him like a funeral shroud. He does not blink. He does not speak a single word. His absolute silence is more deafening than any battle cry. The Void Phantom Angel has arrived to exact his toll. The era of divine immunity is over. The telepathic scream of the Grand Priest violently invades 12 divine minds. Beerus claws frantically at his silk bedsheets. He scrambles off the edge of his floating bed. He collapses heavily onto his knees. He vomits a stream of pure golden bile onto the floor. The horrific psychic pressure crushes his chest cavity. Wiz materializes silently beside his master. The angel's usually calm face is pale and rigid. Wiz grips his staff with both trembling hands. He taps the staff rapidly against the floorboards. A column of rainbow light swallows them both instantly. In Universe 11, Belmont drops his glass of fine wine. The crystal shatters against the polished marble floor. Margarita grabs Belmont roughly by his clown collar. She forcefully teleports him out of his palace. In Universe 6, Champa chokes on a roasted leg of meat. Vados smacks his back to dislodge the food. She summons the transport beam without a single word. Across all 12 universes, the same frantic evacuation occurs. The Grand Priest violently rips open 12 spatial portals in the multiversal void. The portals manifest directly in Goku's flight path. The 12 gods of destruction materialize simultaneously from the portals. They arrive in a chaotic jumble of bright transport lights. They float aimlessly in the dead vacuum of space. Confusion flashes across their divine faces. Belmont adjusts his colorful collar with a heavy scowl. Quila crosses his arms defensively. Rumshi snorts a cloud of hot pink steam from his mouth. Moscow grinds his metallic gears loudly. Hela summons her golden bow with a flick of her wrist. Geen cracks his knuckles in anticipation of a fight. Liquier swishes his multiple tails aggressively. Sidra strokes his beard in nervous hesitation. Mule grips the controls of his robotic suit tightly. Iwan clenches his small, furry fists. Arak stares blankly at the dark nebula ahead. They look around for the source of the emergency summon. The cold reality of their situation hits them a second later. A suffocating wave of pure killing intent washes over them. The dark pressure wave physically pushes them backward. Champa gasps violently for non-existent air. Beerus grabs his own throat in sudden panic. He recognizes the terrifying energy signature approaching them. It is the Saiyan he once fought on Earth. But this energy feels ancient and fundamentally wrong. It carries the absolute chill of the eternal void. The Grand Priest projects his massive holographic face across the stars. His giant pale face illuminates the dark nebula behind them. He issues a cold, merciless decree to the 12 destroyers. He orders the immediate and absolute erasure of the mortal anomaly. He promises permanent deletion for any god who hesitates. The holographic face dissipates into blue cosmic dust. The 12 destroyers turn their attention to the front. A streak of silver-black light tears through the distant starfield. Goku approaches them at an impossible speed. He leaves a massive wake of dead, blackened space behind him. His phantom wings beat once to decelerate. He comes to a sudden, dead stop a few miles away from the divine blockade. The sheer kinetic force of his stop generates a shockwave. The shockwave slams into the gods of destruction. It violently disrupts their divine orbs. Goku floats silently before the multiversal executioners. He does not adopt his signature martial arts stance. He lets his arms hang loosely at his sides. His dark metallic armor absorbs the starlight. His silver eyes lock onto Beerus. Beerus involuntarily takes a step backward in space. He feels the primal fear of a prey animal. He forces his pride to override his terror. He grits his fangs tightly together. He thrusts his purple palm forward. He channels his maximum Hawkeye energy instantly. A sphere of dark purple destruction manifests in his hand. The other 11 destroyers follow his lead. Belmod summons a massive orb of swirling red Hawkeye energy. Champa creates a volatile sphere of dark orange destruction. Quila generates a condensed ball of yellow erasure magic. Rumshi trumpets loudly and fires a pink blast from his trunk. Hellas draws her bowstring back to its absolute limit. An arrow of pure teal destruction forms on the string. Moscow opens his central eye to charge a crimson beam. Geen cups his hands to mold a dark green Hawkeye sphere. Liquier forms 9 distinct orbs of golden destruction. Sidra creates a defensive barrier of dark brown energy. He quickly converts the barrier into an offensive projectile. Mule triggers the main cannon of his robotic armor. Yuan summons a jagged disc of black Hawkeye magic. Arak forms a twisting tornado of gray destructive energy. 12 distinct colors of ultimate destruction illuminate the void. The combined energy output warps the surrounding space-time continuum. The fabric of reality burns under the intensity. Space itself begins to fracture under the sheer weight of their combined attack. Black cracks spiderweb across the visible universe. The heat generated by the wave melts the surrounding asteroids into liquid slag. The liquid slag vaporizes instantly into nothingness. The destroyers roar in unison to mask their internal dread. They push their hands forward to launch their ultimate attacks. 12 apocalyptic spheres of Hawkeye energy rocket toward Goku. The spheres merge into a single, colossal wave of erasure. The multicolored wave devours everything in its path. It accelerates toward the solitary Saiyan. The wave travels the distance in less than a microsecond. Goku does not flinch at the incoming apocalypse. He slowly raises his right hand. He extends his index finger toward the colossal wave. His phantom wings wrap defensively around his body. The wings form a solid shield of pure void matter. The multicolored Hawkeye wave slams directly into the void shield. The impact generates an explosion that spans an entire solar system. Blinding white light completely washes out the visual spectrum. Physical force pushes the dead planets away from the epicenter. The destroyers shield their eyes from the agonizing brightness. They pant heavily from the massive energy expenditure. The residual energy from the blast scorches the destroyers' garments. Beerus drops his arm in pure exhaustion. Belmod stumbles backward against the vacuum of space. Champa clutches his chest in a desperate attempt to catch his breath. They wait for the blinding light to fade. They expect to see nothing but empty space. The smoke clears slowly to reveal the horrifying truth. Goku remains exactly in the same position. His void shield absorbs the Hawkeye energy like a dry sponge. The colorful, destructive magic turns black upon contact. It dissolves completely into his phantom wings. The wings unfold gracefully behind him. He lowers his right hand. He tilts his head forward. The silver glow in his eyes intensifies. The void energy begins to leak from his armor plates. It drips down like thick black blood into the vacuum. The drops of void energy sizzle as they touch the residual Hawkeye magic. They extinguish the divine fire instantly. Goku flexes his shoulders to adjust the heavy wings. A sharp cracking sound echoes through the dead silence. The destroyers watch their absolute power utterly meaningless. Quila bites his own lip, hard enough to draw blood. Hellas drops her golden bow entirely. Geen falls onto his knees in the empty air. He bows his head in absolute, humiliating defeat. The 12 gods of destruction realize their ultimate attack failed completely. A cold, paralyzing silence falls over the divine blockade. The true execution is about to begin. The 12 gods of destruction stare at the impossible sight before them. The most powerful erasure magic in existence simply vanished. The sheer futility of their combined attack shatters their divine pride. Goku floats perfectly, still amidst the fading smoke. He does not power up with a familiar battle cry. He does not emit an explosive aura of overwhelming heat. He simply lowers his right arm. His silver eyes burn through the void. The air around him literally freezes into dark ice crystals. The temperature of the sector drops to absolute zero. A suffocating psychic pressure crushes the remaining space between them. It is not an aggressive push of raw energy. It is the unbearable weight of a predator isolating its prey. Beerus feels his internal organs tighten painfully. He struggles to force air into his lungs. He clutches his chest as the panic sets in fully. Champa wheezes loudly and drops to his hands and knees in the vacuum. He claws desperately at his own throat. Belmod loses his arrogant half-smile. The clown god's face contorts in genuine terror. His hands shake uncontrollably. Quaella scurries backward, attempting to hide behind Jean. Geen remains frozen on his knees, paralyzed by ancient fear. Hellas covers her face with trembling hands, unable to look. Rumshi lets out a pathetic, high-pitched whimper. Moscow's central eye flickers erratically, signifying internal system failure. Liquir's 9 tails tuck tightly between his legs. Sidra closes his eyes tightly, awaiting the inevitable end. Mule ejects from his robotic suit in pure panic. Iwan cowers silently behind a floating piece of debris. Arak stares blankly, his mind shattered by the impossibility. Goku slowly focuses his gaze on Beerus. The single, concentrated stare hits the destroyer like a physical blow. Beerus feels a cold dagger plunge directly into his soul. The silver-black aura around Goku flares for a microsecond. A massive surge of pure killing intent shoots across the void. The dark energy instantly severs the divine spark within Beerus. The connection to the Grand Priest violently snaps. Beerus gasps one final time. His golden eyes roll back into his head. The purple aura surrounding his body completely extinguishes. His body turns to ash and scatters into the cosmic wind. Goku shifts his gaze to Champa. The exact same instantaneous erasure occurs. Champa's body disintegrates before he can even scream. Goku's eyes move to Belmod. The clown god tries to turn and run. The void energy catches him mid-stride. Belmod shatters into 1,000,000 pieces of broken glass. The glass fragments melt into black dust. Goku targets Quaella next. The rat god shrieks in pure agony. His body collapses inward upon itself, crushed by invisible gravity. Goku looks at Geen. The silent god accepts his fate. Geen simply fades away into the dark nebula. Goku locks eyes with Helios. Her beautiful form rots into a blackened skeleton instantly. The skeleton crumbles to dust in the vacuum. Goku turns his attention to Rumshi. The elephant god's trunk turns to ash mid-whimper. His massive body dissolves in a cloud of pink smoke. Goku stares at Moscow. The robotic body violently implodes. Goku looks at Liquir. The fox god's 9 tails burn away into nothingness. His body follows a split second later. Goku shifts his gaze to Sidra. The dwarf god's protective barrier shatters instantly. His body is violently ripped apart by the void energy. Goku locks onto Mule. The small god screams as his physical form evaporates. Goku finally looks at Iwan and Erasure. The 2 remaining gods vanish simultaneously. Their erasure is silent and absolute. The entire purge takes less than 10 seconds. 12 gods of destruction erased from existence. They were not defeated in epic martial combat. They were extinguished by a single glare of pure void energy. The executioners of the multiverse are permanently deleted. The cosmic balance shifts violently in response. The 12 universes tremble violently. The life force of trillions of mortals spikes in sudden terror. The stars themselves dim in reverence to the new apex predator. Goku stands alone in the newly created dead zone. He flexes his neck slowly to the left. A sickening crack echoes through the terrifying silence. He turns his back on the ashes of the fallen gods. He faces the Omni Palace once again. His phantom wings beat once more. He propels himself forward through the dead space. He leaves the graveyard of the destroyers behind him. He moves toward the grand golden gates of the divine realm. The Grand Priest's final line of defense is completely shattered. The true hierarchy is completely undefended. The absolute ruler of the multiverse is entirely exposed. 12 pillars of blinding white light crash down into the dead zone. The 12 angels emerge from the divine columns. They position themselves in a geometric circle around Goku, which stands directly in front of his former student. Vados flanks the Saiyan to the right. Margarita blocks his path to the left. Korn and Awamo secure the rear flank. Kukata and Mojito hover above to cut off vertical escape. The angels do not display the primal terror of the fallen destroyers. Their faces remain chillingly neutral. They hold their divine staffs in synchronized grips. The halos around their necks spin rapidly. The Grand Priest's telepathic command echoes through their minds. They must seal the temporal anomaly at all costs. Wiz taps the base of his staff against the invisible floor. A ripple of silver time magic spreads outward. The other 11 angels mirror the exact motion. 12 overlapping ripples of time magic collide. The collision generates a blinding flash of silver light. They form a multi-layered temporal lock around Goku. The flow of time stops within the glowing circle. Space crystallizes into a translucent prism. Goku is trapped inside the chronal amber. The multiversal wind ceases to blow. The debris from the dead destroyers halts in midair. The silver-black aura freezes in place. The angels tighten the temporal prison simultaneously. They channel their divine energy to maintain the lock. Wiz exhales a sigh of relief. A single heartbeat echoes from inside the frozen prism. The sound defies the stasis of the temporal lock. The beat reverberates through the dead vacuum. A microscopic crack appears on the surface of the amber. The crack spiders outward in jagged black lines. Void energy leaks from the fissure. The dark energy sizzles against the silver magic. Goku shifts his silver eyes to look into Wiz's soul. The movement breaks the absolute law of frozen time. He blinks once. The temporal lock shatters into a billion pieces. The shards of frozen time rain down like broken glass. The shards evaporate before they hit the ground. The resumption of time creates a sonic boom. The kinetic shockwave pushes the 12 angels backward. Goku steps out of the shattered prison. He rolls his shoulders to loosen his muscles. His dark, metallic armor clinks softly in the silence. The silver-black aura reignites with terrifying intensity. It flares outward to push back the encroaching divine light. Vados thrusts her staff toward Goku's chest. The crystal atop the staff glows with lethal intent. Goku does not dodge the incoming strike. He does not raise a hand to block. He allows the weapon to pierce his torso. The divine staff phases through his body. His form turns into dark mist upon contact. Vados stumbles forward from her lost momentum. Goku materializes behind her back. He grabs the angelic staff with his left hand. The void energy infects the pristine weapon. The white metal rusts into dark iron. The blue crystal turns black. The corruption travels down the shaft toward her hands. Vados gasps in shock and releases her grip. Goku snaps the corrupted staff in half over his knee. He tosses the broken pieces into the void. Margarita swings her staff at his head. She channels destructive energy into the swing. Goku ducks under the strike. He pivots on his left heel to generate momentum. He drops his center of gravity flawlessly. He drives his right fist upward into her stomach. The dark energy punches through her angelic barrier. The blow lifts her completely off the ground. Margarita coughs from the impact. Dark red blood speckles her lips. She collapses to her knees in the vacuum. Korn charges forward with blinding speed. He readies a concentrated blast of pure light. He thrusts his palm toward Goku's face. Goku raises 2 fingers to intercept the charge. He meets the glowing palm with a casual tap. He taps Korn on the forehead. The kinetic force of a dying star explodes from his fingertips. Korn flies backward and crashes through an asteroid. The asteroid shatters into 1,000 jagged pieces. Awamo tries to blind the Saiyan with a burst of divine light. The light illuminates the dead sector of space. Goku's phantom wings absorb the light entirely. The wings expand slightly to process the energy. The feathers turn pitch black to consume the brightness. He steps into Awamo's guard effortlessly. He backhands Awamo across the jaw. The heavy blow fractures the angel's cheekbone. Awamo spins violently through the air before crashing. Kukata attempts to bind Goku with rings of energy. 7 glowing hoops encircle the Saiyan's limbs. The rings tighten to restrict his physical movement. Goku flexes his aura once. He pushes the dark energy outward from his core. The energy rings shatter like brittle ice. The fragments dissolve into harmless sparks. He kicks Kukata in the chest. His heavy combat boot connects cleanly with the sternum. The angel skids backward for 100 miles. Mojito tries to strike from a blind spot above. He channels his energy into a devastating downward kick. He aims for the base of Goku's neck. Goku grabs Mojito by the ankle without looking. He swings the angel in a massive downward arc. He slams the angel into the floor. The impact creates a spiderweb of cracks in space. The dimensional fabric groans under the stress. Campari fires a barrage of energy needles. The needles whistle through the vacuum. They track Goku's specific energy signature. Goku walks deliberately through the barrage. The needles dissolve harmlessly against his armor. He grabs Campari by the throat. He lifts the angel completely off the ground. He squeezes hard enough to cut off the angel's oxygen. He watches the panic rise in Campari's eyes. He tosses the gasping angel aside like a broken toy. Cognac, Sour, and Martinu attack simultaneously. They form a triangular formation to box him in. They raise their staffs to cast a combined sealing spell. Goku spreads his phantom wings wide. A wave of dark gravity pulses outward. The gravitational pull crushes the triangular formation instantly. The spell fizzles out before it can manifest. The three angels are pinned to the floor by unbearable weight. Their halos crack loudly under the pressure. The divine rings lose their pristine glow. Wiz stands alone against his former pupil. He watches his brothers and sisters fall with chilling efficiency. Wiz raises his staff defensively. His calm eyes betray a profound sorrow. He realizes the Grand Priest's arrogance has doomed them all. He prepares to counter any physical strike. Goku steps directly into Wiz's guard. He moves faster than an angel's perception. He places his right hand flat against Wiz's chest. He feels the rapid beating of the angel's heart. He does not strike his master. He refuses to deliver a fatal blow to his former teacher. He channels a burst of neutralizing void energy. The dark energy severs Wiz's connection to the Grand Priest. The psychic link to the Omni Palace snaps violently. The angelic halo around Wiz's neck shatters into glowing dust. The divine fragments scatter into the cosmic wind. Wiz drops his staff into the abyss. The weapon falls endlessly into the dark nebula. His white hair loses its divine luster. He falls backward into unconsciousness. Goku catches Wiz before he hits the ground. He lowers his former master to the cracked floor. The 12 highest multiversal beings lie defeated. The impossible execution is complete. Goku steps over the fallen angels. He resumes his march toward the throne room. The golden gates of the Omni Palace loom large in the distance. Goku stands at the base of the golden stairway. The stairway leads directly to the highest authority in existence. His heavy combat boots touch the first immaculate stair. The pristine gold tarnishes instantly under his tread. The corruption spreads rapidly upward like a dark virus. The divine metal rusts into brittle iron. The iron crumbles immediately into fine gray powder. He begins his slow ascent to the throne room. His phantom wings fold tightly against his armored back. Thick black mist rolls down the staircase behind him. The mist devours the surrounding celestial light. The golden clouds surrounding the palace turn a sickly ash gray. The vibrant colors of the divine realm fade entirely. The air grows bitterly cold with each step. Frost forms on the golden handrails. The frost turns black and devours the metal. The atmospheric pressure drops to a suffocating level. Gravity distorts around his ascending form. Floating pillars of marble crash down into the endless abyss. He takes another deliberate step upward. The sound of his boot striking stone echoes like a cannon shot. The Grand Priest watches the approaching darkness from the Grand Hall. He stands protectively in front of Zeno's throne. His pale hands grip his divine staff tightly. His knuckles remain stark, white from the immense pressure. He feels the absolute failure of his grand design. He locked away a simple mortal martial artist. He accidentally forged a literal multiversal apex predator. Zeno sits rigidly on his massive throne. The Omni King does not swing his small legs. He stares silently at the massive palace doors. The heavy golden doors stand 50 feet tall. They are the final physical barrier between the god and the anomaly. Goku reaches the top of the ruined staircase. He stops inches away from the towering golden doors. He simply exhales a breath of freezing white mist. He pushes his silver-black aura outward. The dark energy slams directly into the ancient doors. The impact creates a deafening, metallic shriek. The intricate carvings melt away like wax in a furnace. The 50-foot doors violently implode inward. The massive chunks of gold dissolve into black ash midair. The ash blows forcefully into the immaculate throne room. It coats the polished marble floor in a thick layer of soot. Goku steps slowly across the ruined threshold. The heavy silence of the room is terrifyingly absolute. He locks his silver eyes onto the Grand Priest. He ignores the two cowering royal guards entirely. The guards press their backs against the furthest wall. Their armor clatters loudly as they tremble. The guards drop their weapons onto the ash-covered floor. He ignores the panicked whimpers of the Omni King. His gaze bores directly into the soul of the traitor. The Grand Priest forces a polite, strained smile onto his face. He attempts to maintain his facade of absolute control. He taps his staff against the floor to cast a supreme defensive barrier. A wall of pure white light erupts between them. Goku walks directly into the wall of divine light. He pushes his phantom wings forward. The wings slice cleanly through the defensive barrier. The white light shatters like fragile glass. The Grand Priest's smile vanishes completely. He takes a single, terrified step backward. Goku teleports directly into the Grand Priest's personal space. He grabs the Grand Priest roughly by his blue collar. He lifts the highest angel effortlessly off the floor. His heavy grip cuts off the angel's air supply. He stares into the Grand Priest's panicked purple eyes. The absolute silence terrifies the Grand Priest more than any threat. Goku channels a concentrated burst of void energy into his left hand. He drives his left fist directly into the Grand Priest's chest. The heavy blow shatters the divine ribs instantly. The Grand Priest coughs up a thick stream of dark red blood. The dark red blood spatters across Goku's dark metallic armor. The void energy violently invades the angel's internal systems. It aggressively neutralizes his ancient divine ki. The halo above the Grand Priest's head flickers erratically. The brilliant ring shatters into dull gray fragments. The fragments fall to the floor and turn to dust. Goku releases his tight grip on the ruined collar. He lets the Grand Priest drop heavily to the ash-covered floor. The highest angel gasps desperately for air. He tries to speak, but only chokes on his own blood. He clutches his ruined chest in pure physical agony. He crawls backward away from the void phantom angel. His pristine white robes are heavily stained with dark red blood. The Supreme Advisor is reduced to a crawling insect. The architect of the ultimate betrayal lies completely broken. Goku steps casually over the fallen angel. He walks slowly toward the massive throne. The shadow of his phantom wings falls entirely over the Omni King. Zeno presses his back hard against the throne's cushions. His small hands tremble violently against the armrests. He looks up at the towering figure of the Saiyan. He sees the total absence of mercy in those silver eyes. He sees the end of his eternal reign. Zeno whimpers softly in the crushing silence. Tears form at the edges of his wide eyes. Goku stops exactly 3 feet away from the throne. He raises his right hand slowly. He points his open palm directly at the Omni King's face. A sphere of concentrated void energy forms in his hand. The energy locks onto Zeno's fundamental existence. The dark gravity wraps around the small god like a physical chain. Goku closes his fingers slightly. The invisible chains pull painfully tight. He forces the absolute ruler of the multiverse to stand up. Zeno involuntarily rises from his seat of ultimate power. His feet dangle slightly above the ruined floor. The era of childish whims dictating reality is officially over. Goku dictates the new absolute multiversal law. With the Grand Priest utterly broken and Zeno literally suspended by Goku's new dark power, what happens when the Omni King is forced to unleash his true combat form in a desperate fight for survival? Drop your theories in the comments below.